Hello! Oh my god, what has happened already? Something's happened already? I've dropped my phone. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy content, I suppose. My name is Dan, and it is deadline day once again. These deadlines are coming around fast, aren't they? Deadline day once again, this time for match day 4. Hope you guys are doing okay this merry Saturday afternoon. No matter what you are doing, chilling at home, enjoying a bit of the sunshine, depending on where you are in the world. Maybe you're enjoying a bit of cold. Don't know. Southern Hemisphere gang. Is it cold where you are? Possibly. I guess we'll see. But yes, guys, we need to talk about fantasy football today. We've got a few things to talk about. And yeah, it's a round of 16. So this is where things get quite interesting. Quite interesting because not only are we trying to pick players who we think will do quite well and score those points, we're also trying to pick those players who we think will advance through the tournament and continue to perform well. So we're looking for those players with that longevity. I can never say that word. Did any of you guys just have those one words that you just can't say? Your mouth doesn't work, your brain doesn't work. Longevity. Who knows? Maybe we'll figure it out at some point. 9 p.m. here in Thailand. Wow, it's late for you. 2 hours. Can you stay up for 2 hours, crew Ploppy, to get to the deadline? Got to get that early team news. We're going to get that team news in about an hour. It's 8 degrees in Melbourne. So wow, that is quite chilly. Apparently, Build said that Realm is rumoured to start. That's interesting. That is interesting. Let's see. Longevity. There we go, we got there. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. I've not actually seen any rumours about the Germany game. Of course, the first game is going to be Switzerland versus Italy, isn't it? So that's the one we're going to be looking at first. But, yeah, we will, of course, look for rumours around the Germany game as well, because I know some people are thinking about picking some German players. I have seen some rumours about maybe Havertz not starting and actually being Füllkrug instead. But I think, to be honest, most of us aren't really looking at those German forwards. We're more looking at the German midfielders, if I'm not mistaken. That's certainly where I've been looking. And I definitely think, that's where I want to go moving forward. So, guys, let's get straight in and have a look at my team. As it is right now, it's not final. I probably am going to make changes to this. So just to make you perfectly aware of that scenario, I don't want to scam anyone into thinking this is my final team, because it is very much not. But this is where we're at right now. For audio listeners, let's just go through it. So in the forward positions, I've got Ronaldo, Morata, and Mbappe. So pretty reliable. No Kane for me. I do, of course, have the wildcard in hand still, which I'll probably play in matchday 5, but I'm open to playing it in matchday 6 as well, depending on how the results go. But certainly, I think if I didn't have the wildcard, I would be looking more at Cody Gakpo, Memphis Depay, Harry Kane, those kind of players, which we are going to talk about shortly. I do want to make sure, because I haven't really done a draft or a team specifically for those people who don't have a wild card. So I think that's going to be probably quite useful for me to go ahead and build something like that. And I've got some ideas already of how I would approach it if I didn't have a wild card, because you do have to think slightly further in advance. You have to look at the brackets a little bit more, where if you do have a wild card, you can look more just at what's right in front of you. And that involves going all in on teams like Spain. So anyway, speaking of Spain, in midfield, I have got Williams and Pedri. So we've got Morata, Williams and Pedri. Triple Spain attack. And my thought process behind this really is the fact that this, to me, has the most potential of being like a 4-0 or a 5-0 or something crazy where you can get loads of points out of it. I mean, certainly, let's find it. Spain versus Georgia. I believe they played each other during qualification. Let's go Spain versus Georgia head-to-head. So I think they were in the same group in qualification, and it was like, I think Spain absolutely dominated them. Is this what I'm looking for? Let me try and find it, guys. In fact, let's just go, I don't know, let's just go for Pedri, transfer marked, national. And then we can just see this way. We'll see what I think it was like 7-1 the last time they played. Let's find it here. So, we're looking down here. Yeah, okay. 7-1. So, back around a year ago, when Spain played Georgia, Spain won 7-1. They also beat them 3-1 in November just gone. So that's definitely something that's really, really interesting to me. How we've kind of seen that. Well, we've clearly got a pattern here where Spain will fancy themselves. And I would say that looking through the teams in the tournament, I'd say Spain on form have been the best team, certainly in the attacking areas. And I would say that Georgia have been the worst team who remain in the tournament on defensive form as well. So this game looks like it's going to have some goals. And I don't know exactly where they're going to come from. My 3 favourite bets are probably Morata, Williams and Pedri. You'd probably include Yamal in there as well. So those are my 4 favourites. And yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Incog says, who scored for Spain in the 7-1? I mean, we may as well have a look. I'm not sure how much impact it will have now because I don't know if the team has changed a little bit since then with a lot of young players coming through. But there you go. Morata, hat-trick. So if you ever need a reason to pick Morata, well, there's another one. Nico Williams got a goal there from the bench. Yamal got a goal from the bench as well in that 7-1 victory. So quite significant, actually. Quite significant indeed. Interestingly, Fabian Ruiz got a couple of assists in that game as well, if that counts for anything. Let's have a look at the 3-1 as well. Doggo says, Georgia will score, but in my opinion, Spain attack ×2 is a must. Yeah, I would be going minimum double Spain attack. Minimum. I do definitely I accept that Spain could concede, though. I don't mind Spain defensively, and I don't even mind going for a double up in Spain defense. I don't mind that. I think it's fine. Definitely something you can consider doing. But ultimately, when we look at this Georgia team, it's very clear that they are better in attack than they are in defence. And if it wasn't for their goalkeeper, Mamardashvili, they would have conceded a lot more goals so far this tournament. It's not looked particularly good. So yeah, I really am backing Spain. And I think it's going to be Morata, Williams and Pedri and Yamal. These are the 4 players that I think will get goal involvement. If Spain score 3 or 4 goals, which is definitely possible, if that's the case, well then surely all 3 of Morata, Williams and Pedri are going to have some goal involvements there. So really like the look of them. I want to speak about Fabian Ruiz. I'm sure we're going to get loads of questions about him throughout the stream, but I do want to talk about Fabian Ruiz now briefly, because obviously he's not in my team. And a lot of people have asked me about him this week, saying, Dan, why aren't you going for Fabian Ruiz? Surely he's scored more points so far this tournament. Surely he's the guy to go for. And certainly if we look so far in the tournament, Ruiz has done really well. Really well. But ultimately, he is a defensive midfielder. He sits as a part of a 2-man midfield. Rodri sits a little bit deeper. Fabian has more license to advance up the field, play a bit more attacking. Is sort of more of an 8. So if Rodri's the 6, then Ruiz is the 8. But that's not quite good enough for me. I think I want players who are even further up the pitch. So we've got Williams, who's playing as a winger, for example. Nico Williams playing as a winger, looking really good, really sharp. I've been unlucky not to get more points. He's already had a man of the match performance so far this tournament, so he really is top of his game. Nice rest as well. No minutes played in match day 3, so he should be good for minutes in this one. Then we've got the likes of Pedri. Although he hasn't done too much, he got 1 assist so far this tournament. Another full rest in match day 3, which is nice. Just 1 assist so far, but he has been playing so advanced. Like, he is basically playing as a second striker for Spain. So when we're looking for Spanish players listed as midfielders, and players who are, listed as midfielders but playing quite advanced in that Spanish system, well, it's Williams and Pedri. It's not Rodri. It's not Fabian. And I have no doubt that Fabian, with the form he has and the fact that he does have some license to go forward, he can definitely be involved in attacking returns as well. I definitely think he can be involved. But when we're looking at the odds going forward, rather than just looking at past results over the last, 2 games really, that Fabian has played during this tournament, and we instead look at, the history of Fabian playing for Spain, the history of Fabian playing at club level as well, be that for Paris Saint-Germain or Napoli, we do see a lot of, evidence to say that Fabian he's just not an attacking player, and that's fine. He's very good at what he does, but he's not a super attacking player. And I think what we might have seen in the first 2 match days is somewhat of an anomaly. If we're looking at the comparison between Williams, Pedri, and Fabian, to me it seems very, very evident and very clear. And all of the bookies, by the way, all of the odds, all of the stats guys, they are all projecting more attacking returns for Williams, for Pedri, ahead of Fabian, who doesn't really make, probably doesn't even make the top 30 players in terms of those goal scoring odds for matchday 4. And that's because he's just a little bit deeper. He just plays a little bit deeper. And that's absolutely fine. So, yes, I want Spain attackers. I want the best Spain attackers. And I want Spain attackers who are going to be, with good odds. Good odds. And we're going to have a look at some odds and stuff like that. The Brown Zetsu says Fabian is more attacking than Pedri. I mean, I've seen other people. I've seen one other person say that in my comment section before. I've watched the Spain games. Certainly the first 2 where they were both playing together, and I have seen no evidence that Fabian is more attacking than Pedri. I'm not really sure where people have got this from. I mean, I was going to say, have you watched the games? But even if you just watch the highlights reel, you can see. You can see for yourself. I strongly disagree that Fabian has been more attacking. I mean, I wonder if we can find some heat maps. Spain versus, let's just go Spain versus Italy is the last game they played together, right? Heat maps. Spain versus Italy heat maps. This is going to be harder to find than I thought. Okay, let's go Fabian Ruiz heat map. Maybe hzfCWh is going to have some heat map. Maybe it'll be understat. Don't know. Can we get heat map here? For a specific match. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be harder to find than I thought. Maybe someone else can help me out there. If anyone can send me one on Twitter, a heat map, or tell me where to go to find a heat map, then that would be really, really useful. But I don't really know how to prove it other than showing you the video clips, and I can't show you the video clips on this channel because that's copyright infringement, unfortunately, and the stream will get taken down. So I guess you're just gonna have to trust me on that one. Pedri plays more advanced than Fabian by quite some distance, actually. I don't even think it's particularly close. So source, trust me, bro. If you want to go check out who scored has heat maps for both. Oh, does it? Okay. Who scored? So if I just go on this, and then then where would I go from there? Because I do want to prove this, because a few people have said this now, and it is just not true. Can we go Fabian Ruiz Spain? Ugh. This is harder to find than I thought. I want to see him for Spain, really, not for... I don't know. If anyone's got anything, send me on Twitter. DM me something on Twitter, and I'll have a look there, if you can find it. Until then, we'll move on. But yeah, feel free to send me something, DM me on Twitter, and we'll have a look at what you got. And we'll give you a little shout out, of course. I'll move through this team anyway. We've got one Germany attacker, which is Musiala. I see a lot of people going for a double up Musiala and Gundogan, which I definitely think is it's possible to go for 2 Germany. I just look at this game, Germany versus Denmark, and I see this as being a lower scoring game. This is more of a 1-0, 2-1 kind of game, whereas I see Spain versus Georgia as a 3 or 4-0 kind of game. Going to the games for Spain. Right, am I doing this wrong? Right. You can see average position on who scored. Okay, someone's saying go to sofa score for Fabian Ruiz hit match. Okay. Sofa score. Fabian Ruiz. Okay, then what? Then where do I go from here? Is it just this heat map here where it's just, that's not really a heat map, is it? Can we show more? We go to his games. Where do I go from here? Go to his statistics and scroll down for heat map. Okay. All right. Okay. That's actually what we're looking for, isn't it? That's exactly what we're looking for. Perfect. Thank you so much. Now let's do Pedri. And it's on sofa score. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. David says, Dan, the disrespect for Georgia is hurtful. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've got to be objective, though, my friend. Got to be objective. So, we have a little bit of a weaker heat map, to be fair. Or perhaps not had as many touches. He's not played as many minutes, so that's going to come into that a little bit. But definitely what we can see already is that Pedri has all of these touches in the box. You can see all of these little globules of touches inside the box, inside the 6 yard box. Is 6 yard box here as well? 7 yard box? How many yards is that box? 6 yards. Like in and around the penalty spot as well, where we don't really see that from Rodri. Not Red Rodri, Fabian. So he gets to about the D. His job is not to be any further than that. So I think that is evidence that we were kind of looking for. Pedri never really goes deep into his own half, unlike Fabian, who spends a lot of time in his own half. And Pedri is more in those dangerous box kind of areas, which is really useful. You can see his sort of starting position out there, right centre mid. You can see left centre mid kind of starting position for Fabian as well. But when we're looking at where they are in attacks, you see the touches in the box for Pedri. And that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for midfielders, players listed as midfielders, but actually spend a lot of time in and around the box where you have the chance of getting those attacking returns. Someone says, now do Rodri. Do we need to? I think we all probably agree that Rodri is the most defensive of the midfielders for Spain. I don't think there's too much discussion to be had there. So, yeah, I think we're fine. Risk Underrated said Georgia will play a very good deep block. Have you watched a single Georgia game in this tournament? That is not how they play at all. They play all guns blazing, very, very attacking, lots of space opened up, gung-ho football, and they are beautiful to watch. So to disrespect Georgia to say they play a good deep block is offensive to Georgian football. They've done really, really well in attack, and defense is where they've kind of perhaps had the issues. So there we go. I've presented my argument for Pedri over Fabian Ruiz. There is no coincidence that you will see no major Euros content creator or anything like that suggesting for going for Fabian Ruiz. None of them will be going for him because it is clear as day to those who watch the games that Pedri is the more attacking player. That's not to say that Fabian is a bad player. There's loads of good picks. Fabian is a good pick. He is a good pick, but we're looking for better picks. So make your own mind up. Make your own mind up about that one. And I don't want to... I've presented my argument. It's now down to you guys, who you prefer. I know who I prefer. Anyway, so single Germany attack. Just not seeing too many goals in this game. We've got Carvajal right now. That could easily be Cucurella. It could be very easily be Cucurella. I haven't decided there yet, to be honest. And for the person asking, Dan, can I have your final team? No, you can't, because I don't have a final team yet, unfortunately. There's still a couple of questions I need to answer, and they're mostly in defence. So yeah, Carvajal could be Cucurella. I think Carvajal's a little bit more attacking, and although I liked Cucurella's ball recovery numbers in this, was it the second game against Italy? where he got like 15 ball recoveries in a game, which was nuts. The other game, he only got 1 ball recovery. So it's kind of like, I've seen 2 sides of him now. Maybe it's going to change from game to game. Where Carvajal is more attacking, he's more advanced. He's still going to get some ball recoveries. As we've kind of seen, 8 balls recovered in matchday 1, 4 balls recovered in matchday 2. So there's some balance there. It's not too bad. And obviously has a slightly better attacking threat. Akanji is in my team at the moment. He's one of the players I'm not totally convinced, and I think it's a little bit too risky, perhaps. Because, yes, he is a ball recovery machine. And I certainly think in these games, you know, we're going to see a lot more games go to 120 minutes. So there is a chance that, you know, if a team is playing for more minutes, a player like Akanji is going to play a full 120 minutes. It's going to be more opportunities for more ball recoveries. And when we're looking at Akanji as a player who gets so many ball recoveries anyway, he could just keep clocking them up and up and up. So even if he doesn't, you know, keep a clean sheet, we could easily be looking at Akanji grabbing a 6-7 pointer just from ball recoveries alone. You add man of the match potential to that, and we're talking business. If you get a clean sheet on top of that, it's a bonus in many ways. So that's what I kind of like about Akanji. And I do think that it certainly, Switzerland do have the potential to do Italy over. But I guess that remains to be seen. But he is one of the players that I'm not 100% convinced by. Might be a little bit too risky if we're just looking for clean sheets. Because I think out of all of the defenders that I do have in my team, Akanji is the guy with the least, the worst chance of a clean sheet, I suppose. We've got Stones and Gay. Stones could easily be Walker. I've gone for Stones at the moment. Stones should offer a similar amount to Walker in terms of ball recoveries, but I actually think Stones possesses a greater attacking threat than Walker, because Walker doesn't really create too much, really, for down that right-hand side. And Stones is that aerial threat who I can see popping up with like a corner header or something like that. Mark Gay is just in there because he's like been the ball recovery GOAT for the tournament so far. He really has. So he's a no-brainer for my team. So we've got double England defenders. In goal, I've gone for Donnarumma. And we've gone for goalkeeper pairing of Donnarumma and Pickford right now. I'm not 100% convinced by this one. I think the safe option would be to go for Pickford starting and then Costa on the bench. I think that's what most people will probably opt to do, which is totally valid. My thought process with Donnarumma is that I want a goalkeeper with high points potential. Like Donnarumma makes a lot of saves. He's a really good shot stopper, and when, you know, shots come his way, he will save them, and he can clock up points just through making saves. So if you add a clean sheet on top of that, Donnarumma is the kind of player who can get you a 7-pointer, 8-pointer, maybe even a 9-pointer, just through making plenty of saves. Pickford, on the other hand, doesn't really have much to do. And that's why so far this tournament, we've not seen Pickford, you know, beat 6 points. Because he's not making that many saves. Made a few saves against Denmark, slightly better team. But against Slovenia, 1 shot saved. Against Serbia, 1 shot saved. Teams have kind of learned with England that you can just kind of let them have the ball. You don't need to go gung-ho against them because England aren't going to do anything with the ball anyway. So we're not seeing Pickford save too much. So for that reason, his ceiling for points is only around 6 points, which is great. And it's a really nice backup to have. But, you know, you'd rather shoot to the moon first with Donnarumma, see if you can get something crazy. And if you can, I mean, Donnarumma is definitely a player I think has man of the match potential as well. We've seen it happen before. Donnarumma last Euros was player of the tournament. You know, that's how good he is, or has been. So I can see Donnarumma getting saved. I can see him getting player of the match. Pickford I see just as a safe 6-pointer. So if Donnarumma doesn't work out, he's just a safe clean sheet. Perfect. Exactly what I need. But if you start off with Pickford perhaps, and you get your safe clean sheet, well, there's every chance that the goalkeeper you pick after that, Acosta's probably going to outscore Pickford. Because Acosta's going to get you a 7-pointer most likely, and a Pickford's going to get you 6. So it's I think Pickford is a really nice, safe clean sheet. I think Donnarumma is a nice high upside goalkeeper. So that's why I've kind of chosen that pairing. There is logic behind it. There is strategy behind it. But I completely understand why people might want to play it a little safer and go like all in with a Pickford and a Costa. And I think Pickford and Costa are probably the two standout goalkeepers, you would say, for the match day. I think another goalkeeper some people are talking about is Simon, but I think you'd probably, just as well go for a Spanish defender. They both play. Pickford and Simon play on the same day. I think Pickford's probably going to be one of your goalkeepers. Steve says Mamardashvili is where it's at, save machine. He is a save machine, but he's not going to keep a clean sheet, and he's probably going to concede some goals. So, it's, yeah, I don't think I would be going for Mamardashvili personally. But anyway, onto the bench, guys. We spoke about Donnarumma, we spoke about Pickford. We got triple England defence because I think England are the best best defence in the tournament, and I expect them to keep a clean sheet. We've got Brune Fernandes, sorry. Keep getting told off because I'm pronouncing Bruno instead of Brune Fernandes. Yeah, I think it's just super obvious, isn't he? Attacking midfielder, creative, star of his team, man of the match potential, on some set pieces. What's more to like? Why not? Cancelo for some Portugal defensive cover. Definitely want some of that. Definitely want some Portugal defensive cover to kind of fall back on. And finally, we've got Baumgartner, who is an interesting one, really, because I think I think a lot of people will probably at least be having a look at this Austria versus Turkey fixture and kind of trying to figure out how can I capitalise on that, particularly if you're not going for any Netherlands players, which I'm not. But if you are kind of like me and you fancy an Austrian player against Turkey, who are missing Çalhanoğlu, by the way, their best player, the most important player. Turkey fans do not seem confident either, from what I've seen. Any Turkey fans in the chat, let me know how you feel about this fixture. But from what I've seen, not too confident. And Austria have been a quite impressive team this tournament. Pretty impressive team this tournament. And they've shown that they have some good attacking players in the midfield positions. And the two players that I think we're all looking at, if we're looking at Austrian players, we're looking at Baumgartner and we're looking at Sabitzer. Now, Sabitzer started last game and Baumgartner was benched. Part of the reason for that was perhaps because of the yellow card that Baumgartner received in matchday 1, and they didn't want him to be suspended. So they tried to limit his minutes a little bit there, gave him some rest. But certainly, I think the long-term view is that Baumgartner is a regular starter. So there was maybe some concern about Baumgartner starting or not in matchday 4. I'm not really worried about that anymore. Austrian fans that I've seen and I've spoken to have suggested that Baumgartner is kind of the star player, the star man for Austria, and they expect him to play, all minutes going forward. And matchday 3 was very much an anomaly. We saw a lot of players rested, rotated in matchday 3, and that we shouldn't take it too seriously. And yeah, I was looking at Baumgartner, Austria. Let's go transfer marked again because I love this website. Let's type in national here. So I was looking at this. He is on an absolute run. Dan, is it worth taking that risk over Sabitzer? There is no risk, is what I'm saying. There is no risk. Also, Wimmer is suspended, so Wimmer can't play. So even if, Baumgartner was in line to be benched for this game, which I don't believe is the case anyway, actually, in reality, he would be starting now because of that the missing Wimmer in the wider positions. So it'll be Sabitzer and Baumgartner will play together. So look at this, guys. Outside of that France game, it's just been a constant stream of attacking returns for this guy. A goal and an assist against Germany. A goal against Slovakia. A goal against Turkey. Yes, a goal against Turkey. Goal and assist against Serbia. A goal against Switzerland. These are all teams that qualified for the tournament. So even in these international friendlies, Austria played against a bunch of teams who also qualified for the tournament. They performed very well against these teams. And Baumgartner was the guy scoring in every single game. Then scores against Poland after an understandable blank against France. Benched against Netherlands. Rested for the yellow card reason or whatever. Still comes off the bench and grabs an assist. That is how important he is to this team. And when we compare that to Sabitzer, who actually he has been a mainstay in this Austria team so far, but actually looking back through his minutes, they've been more questionable than Baumgartner's, to be honest. They're a bit more questionable. So here we have it, guys. So in the qualifiers, minutes were mixed. You know, a lot of times benching. Not in the squad for these games. On the bench against Switzerland in for that final game, the final warm-up game. So there was actually some concern going into the tournament whether Sabitzer would even start or not. So I look at Baumgartner and I look at Sabitzer. Some people say, oh, Sabitzer rested last game. Is he risky going forward? I think there is an argument to say Sabitzer is the riskier player moving forward. But that's just agendas. You can make them both ways. Ultimately, at the end of the day, and it's the same situation with any comparisons that we can make. They're all good players. Baumgartner is valid. Sabitzer's valid. These are both great picks, and going for both of them is definitely an option for you as well. Would not blame you for going for both of these players. But if you're picking just one, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm backing Baumgartner. I think he's a little bit more differential, so less people will be picking him, which gives me an opportunity to kind of go forward and get a few more points. And also, he has a slightly better history of regular attacking returns for his country. And Austrian fans seem to be recommending Baumgartner ahead of Sabitzer, and they know best. So simple. I mean, it's not simple at all, and it will inevitably go wrong. But this is where I'm at right now. And I think I'm going to stick on Baumgartner ahead of Sabitzer now. I think I'm going to stick there. But they're both great. They're both great. And I don't want to put anyone off Sabitzer because he's also fantastic. Both great picks. They'll both start. No doubt about that. And it might just come down to luck on the day who scores more points. Sabitzer, by the way, should be on some set pieces, so that's going to be a useful way of getting towards some points as well, which is going to be nice. Particularly with Wimmer out, Sabitzer probably takes a few more set pieces. Got a super chat here from Girth, who says, why Ronaldo over others? Odds for goal scoring odds. Let's have a look here. I may as well just show you straight up. So let's have a look at this one first of all. So this one is from FPL Salah on Twitter, and these are the Matchday 4 anytime scorer odds, and the probabilities are based on the player starting the game. So if the player starts the game, these are the odds that the bookies are giving each player of scoring, your goal scorer odds. And Ronaldo comes out on top of the whole pile, 51%. This is kind of backed up. I've looked at a few different odds, a few different statistics. Yeah, Ronaldo has the best odds. I mean, he's been in all of the right places in all the right times. He's on penalties. He's on free kicks. He plays for one of the best teams in the tournament with a favourable fixture. There is a lot of evidence to suggest that Ronaldo is good for a goal. I know it hasn't really happened. I mean, to be fair, in general, the premium forwards, Ronaldo, Kane, Mbappe, Lukaku, they've all disappointed, really, so far this tournament. They really have. But yeah, these are the odds. And like, who am I to say that these are people paid a lot of money to predict who's the most likely to score goals? So who am I to kind of argue against that, really? And I definitely see it myself. And this is just kind of validation. This is confirmation that Ronaldo is a great pick for this match day. So yes, I like him. Morata in second, by the way, according to this particular metric. So Morata 48%, Kane 46%, Joselu, Iyarzabal, Ferran Torres, none of those three players are going to start, in my opinion. In my opinion, they're all for the bench. However, you've got Morata there. And there are some other Spanish players on here, by the way. We'll have a look at them in a minute. But yeah, Ronaldo, Morata, Kane have the best goal scorer odds. After that, out of the players who are going to be starting, it's Mbappe in fourth. So you've got 4 sensible picks there, I think. In Ronaldo, Morata, Kane, and Mbappe. Outside of that, you've got the Germany attackers, if you want to take a risk there on their playing time, because we're not actually sure out of Havertz and Füllkrug which one's going to be starting. So I think I would avoid those players. We've got Yamal, who I think is definitely a really interesting pick. If Yamal was listed as a midfielder, he'd be straight in my team, but he's not. Jota, not sure about his minutes. Arnautovic is definitely interesting. If you fancy going for a differential forward against Turkey for Austria, Arnautovic could be a guy. Penalty taker as well. Then we've got the likes of Gakpo, which is a 30% chance of scoring. Pretty decent. He's done well so far. Baumgartner, 28%. So yes, Baumgartner is indeed ahead of Sabitzer on the goal scorer odds. Bruno Fernandes, Musiala, Depay is in there. Do like Depay as a potential pick if you want to go Netherlands. Nico Williams, 28% as well. We got a whole bunch of other players who may or may not start as well there. Saka, 26%. Sabitzer, 24%. Wirtz, 24%. One problem with Wirtz, which I think is what puts him lower than Musiala, is minutes. Wirtz seems to be a little bit riskier for minutes. And down the lower here, we've got the likes of, Sabitzer, like we said, 24%. Gundogan, 22%. Pedri, 21%. I think he did some Q&A here as well. So Bernardo Silva, 16%. And here we go. Fabian Ruiz, goal scoring odds, 12%. So yeah, again, if you need more arguments to present why players like Williams and Pedri seem to be preferred by the top managers to a player like Fabian Ruiz, there is just a significant difference there. There's a significant difference there between, a Fabian Ruiz, 12%, Pedri, 21%. So almost double chance. If you look all the way up to Williams, where are you? Williams, you go more than double chance. So, what more can I say? I mean, I'm just presenting the facts. I'm just presenting the facts here. I can do no more. But yeah, just be careful on this list. There's a lot of these players are not nailed on for minutes, and these percentages are only based on if the player starts. Really, I would be looking for forwards. I'd be looking at Ronaldo, Morata, Kane, Mbappe, Yamal, Arnautovic, Gakpo, and Depay. And I probably wouldn't look any further than those players listed there for forward. Midfielders, there's a lot of nice options here as well. You probably start here. Baumgartner, I believe, out of the midfielders we know are going to start, he is probably the top there. Am I right? Yes, I am. So he has got the best, alongside Bruno, Musiala, and Nico Williams. These 4 players have the highest goal-scoring odds for midfielders. So that, if you want to just take the odds into consideration, that's 4 out of 5 of your midfielders immediately. Baumgartner, Bruno, Musiala, Nico Williams. Done. Easy as that. But of course, there's other ways of playing, and there's lots of other players who have similar numbers. I like Saka at 26%. I like Sabitzer at 24%. I like Gundogan at 22%. I like Pedri at 21%. And of course, this is just goal scoring odds as well. This is not taking into consideration assists, ball recoveries, clean sheet odds. There's so many different things we can weigh up when considering these players. And some players like Bruno, for example, 28% chance of a goal there, but also has a lot of creativity. So that's why he's going to be one of the best midfielders to go for, probably the best midfielder to go for in this match day. So anyway, guys, those are the anytime scorer odds. And hopefully that helps out a little bit. And shout out FPL Salah on Twitter for providing those. What else do I have for you guys? So there was a few other tweets that I bookmarked here for us to have a look at today. We may as well. So this is a similar thing here. Is that all on screen? Yes, it is. So this graphic comes from Rob T FPL, and this is another. This is spread market goal scorer projections. So it's not odds, it's projections of how many goals, projected goals we expect each player to score. Similar story. Ronaldo top, 0.75 projected goals. Morata second, 0.71. Kane third, 0.56. And Mbappe, less than 50%. Well, not less than 50%. Less than half a goal projected. Projected goals is not odds. At 0.49 there. So yeah, there's your big four. After that, again, similar. We're seeing similar players again. We're seeing Arnautovic up here, 0.47. Fulkrug, Havertz, both 0.44. Depay on according to the spread markets is ahead of Gakpo. Depay on 0.42, Gakpo on 0.36. So we do have Depay ahead of Gakpo, and I think that's possibly due to penalties, free kicks, which can give a player an edge. We have players like Yamal in here as well, if you fancy a punt. If it's a straight battle between Morata and Yamal, I think you just go for Morata. Gregoric, if he starts, it's been Arnautovic starting, so, wouldn't be holding my breath there. And again, when we look for the top midfielder for projected goals on the spread markets, again, it's Baumgartner again. Again, level with Williams and Fernandes. Someone dropped out though, didn't they? Musiala was the other one who was up there with them in the other odds. But yeah, it's interesting. Baumgartner, Williams, Fernandes makes a nice midfield trio. I do think Rodri here is quite interesting as well. But again, that's going to be penalties impacting that, because Rodri kind of seen as that penalty taker. After that, whole bunch of players. Tosin, Scamacca, Retegui, Sabitzer, who we've spoken about, Lukaku, Musiala, Bellingham. I've not seen too many people going for Bellingham, but he does seem to be in discussion still. Wirtz and Gundogan, a little bit lower than our good friend Musiala. So if you are going for one Germany midfielder, it does seem like Musiala is the play. We've got Griezmann. Pedri's on here. Pedri makes the first page. Again, we're seeing Williams. We're seeing Pedri. We're not seeing Fabian Ruiz. And then Foden and Simons at the bottom there. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I really like the look of, going for Ronaldo, Morata, and Mbappe though. I really do like that trio. Because I think if you're going for Kane, who do you drop? Because even though Mbappe has worse goal scorer odds, he has also been fairly creative. And you just don't drop Mbappe, do you? I mean, you could, but it seems risky. It seems a lot, doesn't it? So yeah, it's a tough one there, but I think certainly if you have a wild card in hand, you don't need Kane. I just think I'm really liking the look of Morata at the moment. I think Morata and Ronaldo, people will be dropping one of Ronaldo and Morata for Kane, won't they, really? I mean, guys, those of you who are going for Kane, who are you dropping? Are you dropping Ronaldo? Are you dropping Morata? Are you dropping Mbappe? Who are you missing out on by going for Kane? I'd be interested to know that. Because I just feel like I would rather miss out on Kane. Kane, we're looking at 6 points tops. Even if Kane does score a goal, even if he does jam a penalty, probably just going to be the one goal. Probably not going to get man of the match. And then we're going to be looking at a 6-pointer compared to a Ronaldo or Morata, who have higher chance of scoring multiple goals, higher chance of getting those man of the matches if they do that. Mbappe always has man of the match potential. So, yeah, it looks like most people are dropping Ronaldo, and some people are also dropping Mbappe. Most people dropping Ronaldo, though. So despite seeing the odds that Ronaldo has the best goal-scoring odds of any player in Matchday 4, you've still dropped Ronaldo. That's wild. I've got to follow the numbers on this one, guys. I've got to follow the numbers. I guess we'll see what happens, though. But yeah, I'm personally just going to follow the numbers on that one. And Ronaldo's going nowhere. I want Morata, and I can't see myself dropping Mbappe. So just by process of elimination, Kane gets the boot. Now, people going for Depay's and Gakpo's. Now I don't have a clue how you've managed that. Like, you're going to sacrifice a lot there. But it's fine. No, different ways to play the game. Different ways to play the game. And what else do we have? We have the... Okay, here we are. We have the projected goals scored and clean sheets. So, again, this is from Rob T FPL on Twitter. And these are your odds for who's going to score the most goals and who's going to concede the least goals. Pretty much. So Spain top both sides here with 2.55 projected goals scored. That is huge, by the way. This is definitely a potential for a cricket score kind of game. It really, really is. It could be enormous. It could be huge. So definitely double Spain attack is, I think, it would be a very good idea to go double Spain attack, I think. Whether that's Morata, Yamal, Pedri, Williams, or even Fabian, if you want to go Fabian Ruiz, even if you want him. As long as you've got those two Spain attackers, I think that's going to be important. On the same side, we'll go through the projected goals scored first. So Portugal versus Slovenia is another game which the spread betting markets think is going to have a lot of goals for Portugal. So 2.05 for Portugal. Netherlands coming in third against Romania, 1.95. England, 1.9. I understand that's the odds, but I just can't see that happening. Or can I? In fairness, Slovakia have looked pretty weak defensively in this tournament. They haven't been a great defence. I know they kept a clean sheet against Belgium, right? But how many chances did Belgium get in that game? Yeah, so I think... Yeah, maybe I'm being harsh on England because they're my team in the tournament. Maybe I'm being overly critical. But just look at this and look at 1.9 projected goals. Seems a lot, doesn't it? Anyway, Germany 1.8 projected goals, so slightly lower there. And after that, we have Austria. Yes. Austria ahead of France, ahead of Italy, ahead of Turkey, ahead of Belgium. Ahead of loads of teams. Yeah, Austria really genuinely looking like one of the teams that could score the most goals in this round. Which is really interesting to see. Not too far behind to Germany. So I think going for one Germany attacker, one Austria attacker could be the play. Could be the play. In terms of, you can have a look at the rest of the projected goals scored at your leisure there. But let's just talk about the clean sheet odds here as well, because we haven't really spoken about the clean sheet odds today. So Spain topped the charts. So they topped both charts. 58% chance of a clean sheet against Georgia. England and Portugal joint in second against the Slavs. Can I call them the Slavs? Slovakia, Slovenia, the two Slavs. Is that offensive? I don't know. I hope not. It's surely not. But both 55. So both of them sitting above 50% chance of a clean sheet. So Spain, England, Portugal, you want at least one defender from each of these teams. And you probably double up on 2 out of 3 of them, to be honest. There's definitely some reasons to go there. Netherlands is interesting, 50% chance of a clean sheet. Again, I disagree with that. I think these odds are very useful as a guide. But if you've watched the games and you disagree with something, then you should absolutely go against it. Like a lot of people, in the chat have said, yes, I see Pedri and Williams have a better odds of scoring than Fabian Ruiz. But I've watched the games. I believe in Fabian Ruiz. I think the bookies are missing something. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. And to a degree, like, we can't ignore everything. And if there's very strong trends, I think we probably shouldn't ignore it at all. But I've watched Netherlands this tournament. They've looked weak defensively. I mean, you're probably sick and tired of me going on and on about how little I rate the Netherlands defense. A lot of people have taken offense to that, but I just really do not rate the Netherlands defense. So even at 50% chance, even against Romania, I think Romania, I think they've got a goal in them. Germany down at 42%. I think that's a little harsh on Germany, but I can see it. Denmark are a decent team. France 40%, Italy 38%, Austria 34%, Switzerland 31%. Have also got we've got some defenders to talk about as well, which we'll do shortly. Slavs in the chat. Are we not happy, Slavs? Can we not call you Slavs? Why not? Tell me why. The Slovenia and Slovakia, they're two countries, don't even border each other. They have very different cultures and history, and yet their country names is like so similar. Why is that? Any Slavs in the chat can give me a breakdown of why Slovakia and Slovenia two very different countries ended up with such similar names. There must be a story there, and I'd like to hear it. Let me know in the chat. But Overtino, hi Dan, late to the stream today. Any injury news? Not that I'm aware of. I think a few people are saying that Raum is going to start over Mittelstadt, so we probably just avoid both, to be honest. You could maybe go for Schlotterbeck if you've got a wild card in hand. Maybe Rudiger. Possibly. Anyway. So, I think Spain, England, Portugal, these are the main defences to target. I think without a doubt. After that, I mean, I think, to be honest, you could build up an entire defence just out of these three nations. Just these three nations. But I think it might be nice to also pick one or two players from the likes of Netherlands, Germany, France, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, if you wanted to. Probably not anyone lower than Switzerland on this list, though. When it gets to Belgium, Turkey, Denmark, Slovakia, Romania, Slovenia, Georgia, I would not be going for any of them. Martin says pretty much the same flag and name, different levels on the pitch. You know what? They do have similar flags, but is it Slovenia who have? I think it's the Slovenia flag design because that's a cool little mountain on it, and that's how you tell the difference. Slovenia flag. Here it is. Like, I think that design is just so cool. We've seen a lot of flags that look like this tricolour. But this little emblem with the river beneath the mountains, which I believe is symbolic, isn't it? I can't remember what the history is there. But what a flag. Solid flag. Very impressed. Triglav Mountain, apparently. Top tier flag. Apparently, Slovakia and Slovenia both have similar names because it comes from Slavic. That makes sense. Slavic countries. So can I call you the Slavs? I can't call you the Slavs. Can I call you Slavs? Thomas Fear says Wales flag top soil. We're not speaking about Wales. And when Wales are in the Euros, we'll speak about Wales. Until then, we're having a look at the Slavs. Guys, I believe we now have lineups. I think we have Italy lineup. Italia. What do I search? Italy. Azzurri N. Have you got a lineup for us? Do we have lineups yet? No, we don't have. We don't have the lineup yet. Check out Nepal's flag. Oh, we all know about Nepal's flag. Just can't stick to a rectangle. Gotta go crazy. David says, Dan's new YouTube channel, fun with flags. I do enjoy a flag. Georgia's flag is sick. Georgia's flag is like... It's like they've got an England flag and gone, It's like England had like too many flags. And Georgia was like, we don't have any flags. So England was like, okay, Georgia, we'll send you a bunch of flags, but you just can't, you have to modify them a little bit. So England sent all of their flags over to Georgia. This is a completely made up story, by the way. This is my headcanon. England sent all the flags to Georgia. Georgia were like, maybe we just put some little England flags on the big England flag, and then we could be like mega England. So I see Georgia's flag as more of a mega England flag. So there you go, mega England. Apparently Euro's website has it, so let's have a look. No DeMarco. Yeah, I thought that might be the case, to be honest. I was seeing rumours this morning about his injury, but I didn't want to commit to it because I knew we'd get the lineups anyway. But here we go, guys. Stop showing me this all the time. It always tries to give me this thing that's going to just get my stream taken down. Sick of it. Anyway, so interestingly, we've got Darmian, Bastoni, Mancini, Di Lorenzo in the back, Donnarumma in goal, Barella, Fagioli, Cristante, El Shaarawy, the FIFA 12 legend. FIFA, it's like FIFA 12, isn't it? FIFA 12 legend. Scamacca and Chiesa. Do I really fancy anyone outside of Donnarumma and Bastoni here? Not really. Do you guys remember when... any of you guys play like FIFA 12? When El Shaarawy was a silver card for AC Milan. 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot, pacey. What a card he was on Ultimate Team. Throwback there. But yeah, outside of Donnarumma and Bastoni, I don't really know if I'd want to go anywhere here. I think you get better odds elsewhere. As for Switzerland, again, it's Akanji or no one, isn't it? Because you don't imagine this game will be too high scoring. It's a really difficult game to predict. So, I don't know. Not too much. Ante just says El Shaarawy has to be like 38. Is it his son? He's not that old. I think he just played from a very young age. I think it was like 17 when he broke onto the scene. He always wore the number 92 for Milan. I don't know if he does the same now, which suggests that he was born in 1992, which would make him 31 or 32. Well, let's just look it up. He'll be 31 or 32. 31, there you go. October 1992. So yeah, first season when he was 16. So yeah, he just started super young. Super young. He's not that old. But he feels like he's been around forever, doesn't he? He really does. Feels like he's been around for so long. Mad. But anyway, I think there's probably not too much to say about the lineups. We'll keep referring back to them. But yeah, it's Akanji, Donnarumma and Bastoni, I think, are the only really interesting ones here. Yeah. Anyway, I've got more things to show you guys. I always come. I'm enjoying coming into these streams, pre-planning these streams a little bit, and just coming with loads of things to share with you guys. I got more to share. Actually, before we do more fantasy stuff, quick intermission. Does anyone see me tweet this? Did anyone see this tweet of mine? How mad is this? Ordered £40 worth of Indian food and it was delivered to our neighbour by mistake. Knocked on the neighbour's door to see if they had it and they'd already started eating it. I'm dumbfounded by this. Do people just accept and eat other people's food? Is this normal? Tweet blew up. Thoughts on that one, by the way, before we return to fantasy stuff? Is it acceptable if food gets delivered to your house and you know it's not yours, you didn't order anything, do you just take it if it's prepaid? Do you just take it? Like, that's not normal. Bizarre. Absolute bizarre situation. Like, one of the strangest situations. Like, I was knocked for 6. I didn't know what to think. Baffling. Absolutely baffling. Who does that? That's psychopathic. That's psychopathic behaviour. Crazy. Josh says, I think you have to give it a wait. 10 minutes. It was at the house for 10 minutes before we knocked, and it was gone in 10 minutes. We didn't get our money back, yes. Well, no, we went to we went to the restaurant. They said, oh, we'll replace it. We told them kind of what we had, but we felt a bit bad for the restaurant, so we kind of like knocked a few things off our order. We just said, oh, we'll just take this and this, just so we had some food to eat. So we did still get our food, at least some of what we ordered, because the restaurant remade it for us. But it's outrageous, isn't it? Like this, okay, just to paint a bigger picture, and then we'll move back to the fantasy stuff. This is how the conversation went. Like, and how on earth are you meant to respond to this? This is how the conversation went. Knock on the door. Well, first of all, rang up the restaurant. They said, oh, we've already delivered your food. And we're like, oh, no, we haven't had it delivered. They said, oh, no, we delivered to this number. Is that right? And we're like, oh, no, it's fine. We'll go find that number house. We'll go find that house. It was only like 2 doors down from us. So we knock on the door and said, oh, hello. Has there been a... actually, let's go full screen for this one. We're going to do the whole reenactment. Oh, hello. Has there been a delivery, an Indian food delivery to your house by any chance? Oh, yeah. There was actually, yeah. Oh, did you send it back to them? Did you send it back with the drivers? Oh, no. We didn't. We didn't send it back to the drivers. Oh, okay. Do you have the food then? No. Sorry. What? What do you mean? No, sorry. And then it went kind of on like, oh, yeah, well, we ordered some Indian food yesterday, so we were a bit confused. We thought, we ordered yesterday, so we thought maybe it'd been delivered, I don't know, a day late or something, because we ordered from the fish and chip shop, and we didn't know if it was that or, bunch of excuses. What do you do? What do you do? I'm not going to start a fight about it. I mean, we have to continue to live near these people. Give them the benefit of the doubt. It was obviously a load of nonsense. Oh, we ordered yesterday, so we thought it might be our food today. Give me a break. Give me a break. Unbelievable. Some people in the chat said they would eat it. What? Why? That's not yours. It's not your food. That's literally stealing. It's literally stealing. The Bargy Bandits, says Claudette. Yes, they certainly were. Hopefully they'll be on the end of some bad karma going forward. What if they genuinely think that? That's why I gave them the benefit of the doubt, but it was obviously cap. Right. Back to fantasy. So, this is from FPL Discomfort, who's sent me, once again, an updated, new and improved, actually. Actually, there's a new and improved list where we can have a look at all of the defenders, primarily defenders, and their ball recoveries to see who is getting the most. And it certainly does seem that Mark Gay is the king of ball recoveries so far in this tournament. It's pretty clear. We spoke about Bastoni not so long ago. We spoke about Akanji and Bastoni not so long ago. Both of these players, in these top positions for ball recoveries. Calafiori is actually in second place, but he's suspended, so we can't have him. But yeah, Karnachik Karnishnik. 23 ball recoveries there as well, but don't really like the look of his fixture. That's my do your team alarm. Sorry about that. Vestergaard against Germany, nah. Cashier against Spain, nah. I mean, Rice is an interesting one because on some set pieces and, you know, getting ball recoveries, don't know. I think I'd rather back the defenders, though, to be totally honest. I think there's better midfielders to go for as well. But yeah, there are some standout players that we've got so far. Also on this list now, we've got their lowest ball recoveries in a game and their highest ball recoveries in a game, which is really interesting for a player like Cucurella, if I can find him. So Cucurella here, so has 16 ball recoveries in 2 games, which is really good. However, he got 2 in one game and 14 in the other. So we haven't yet seen consistency in terms of ball recoveries from him. So yeah, not that good. Oh yeah, this is just wrong. This should be what? I just need to go equals that divided by 3 to get 8. No, I could have just typed it. I could have worked that in my head. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, Van Dijk's interesting. If you're going for a Netherlands defender, I think that's probably where I would go. Van Dijk. Pretty decent for ball recoveries. It's not too bad. 18. So looking at 6 per game. 6 per game is pretty decent. Like, yeah, that's going to get you an extra 2 points per game. So looking at 4 points. It's kind of a base level points for him. Unless he's conceding multiple goals or getting yellow cards. The base of around 4 points, which is good. 8 points with a clean sheet. Very nice. Very nice. Doesn't even need an attack in return to be a top scoring player. Rudiger, we kind of mentioned before, as a nice Germany defender, particularly if there's going to be a lot of question marks around the left-back slot. I do think Schlotterbeck is definitely worth looking at as well as a potential ball recovery merchant. We haven't had the evidence so far this tournament because he hasn't been playing, but I think now that Ty is suspended, I think it's interesting. Posh is an interesting one. This is a really interesting one. So if you're going to go for an Austrian defender, this is where I would go. 19 ball recoveries so far, so pretty decent, 6.33 per game. But he's also very advanced indeed. He's advanced, and he was also kind of, you know, harasses the other team and nicks the ball back. So yeah, he's like an attacking fullback, really. I think there's some potential there. If I was to go for an Austrian defensive asset, it wouldn't be Pence, it would be Posh. Posh Spice. That's who I fancy. Posh Spice. Don't take that out of context. Anyway, he is a spicy player as well because not many people are going to be going for him. Now, outside of that, some people looking at Ake, not as impressive, 13 ball recoveries. It's okay. But we've seen enough now this tournament that going for players who get a lot of ball recoveries is probably the way to go. So I do prefer Van Dijk to Ake. I do prefer Van Dijk to Dumfries as well, to Frimpong, because the minutes are a little bit concerning as well for those other guys. Pepe is an interesting one if you're looking for a Portugal defender. Pepe is interesting. I just have this constant fear about his minutes just because of his age. Maybe I'm just being ageist to Pepe, but he is ancient for a football player playing at an international tournament where a game is played every 3 days. To be 41 years old is it's a lot. It's a big age. So maybe I'm worrying too much about that. He did get his rest in Matchday 3. So maybe he comes back in and plays every game for the rest of the tournament. It's interesting. But, you know, in terms of his ball recoveries per 90, per game, really good. 8.84. It's one of the best in the tournament. Mwene is similar. Nice ball recoveries per 90, but maybe hasn't been 100% nailed on. I think I do prefer Posh. But Mwene is interesting. Any other standouts here? 4 per 90 numbers. Inacio, again, you know, you're not guaranteed minutes there. I think that's the problem with a lot of these defenders, is you're not guaranteed minutes of these of some of these players who've got good per 90 numbers. So maybe sometimes just looking at the overall ball recoveries is probably your better bet. I think anyone in this kind of area, you know, you've got good, you know, as long as they have a good fixture as well and they're going to progress through the tournament, I think you like it. Claudette says, Aegis Dan, don't pass the old folks home anytime soon. Yeah, pass the old folks home. Pepe comes out with his Zimmer frame and 2 foot tackles me. I can see it. I can see it. Yellow card, Pepe. I don't care. 100th birthday card. That's what he needs. Anyway. So, okay. I think with that, we've covered pretty much all of the data. All of the stats, all of the facts that I have for you today. We've done goal scorer odds, clean sheet odds, we looked at ball recoveries. What more can we do but start building some teams? So let's do that. Before we do that, guys, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like on the stream, that would be very much appreciated, and I will love you forever. Maybe not forever, but like at least for a few minutes. But yeah, please do like the streams. Everyone who has been leaving likes recently, you guys are absolute legends. Really been helping out. The channel growth over the Euros has been nuts, and I'm so pleased with how everything is going. So I can't thank you guys enough for it. Everyone who's subscribing, liking, watching the videos, watching the streams, you guys are legends. You guys are absolute legends. But back to business. Let's build some teams. So I'm gonna build 2 teams to start off. The first team is going to be a Matchday 4 team for those who don't have a wild card. And I think this is going to be useful because it's not something I've looked at in enough detail. I feel like I've kind of maybe lacked a little bit on this front. So I'm going to go for Mbappe, straight up. I'm going to go for Harry Kane. And I think I'm going to go for... No, I'm going to go Memphis Depay. And then we've got our front 3. I want to go in midfield. In midfield, we can go a little bit more, familiar. So Fernandes, Musiala. We're going to find two Spain midfielders because obviously we haven't got any Spanish. We haven't got a Spanish forward, so we need some Spanish midfielders. So I'm going to choose Williams and Pedri. And then we're going to finish off with 1 Austria. And I prefer Baumgartner. Sabitz is fine as well. Take your pick. I'm going for Baumgartner for this team. Then, in defence. Actually, let's do goalkeepers first because I think it's really straightforward. The goalkeeper duo that I think is the safest and the most sensible is Pickford and Costa. Light work. Then, finally, in defence, I think we pick 1 Spain defender. I think we've got to be a little bit cautious about budget spent in defence. So, for that reason, we're going to go Cucurella. We're then going to go for Van Dijk. We're going to pick Mark Gay. I think, he goes in every team. You have to go for Mark Gay. I just can't imagine a world without him. I'm not going to go further than the triple up on any team, though. So I'm not going to triple up. I'm not going to go for England players. I'm not going to go for Spanish players because I think if you haven't got a wild card, it's just maybe more sensible to go a little bit safer. Just a little bit safer there. So after that, we need probably a Portugal outfield defender. Cancelo is probably where I would go. Reasonably obvious. And then finally, we've got 1 more slot. And I think this is the debatable one where you kind of choose your poison in a way. Maybe a Germany defender. Maybe a France defender if you're looking to pick players to continue through the tournament, because you know for a fact that you're going to be, you're going to be spending your transfers next week on bringing more France players in, right? So although you might not be super confident in France this match day, you may be back a tail on that. We are way over budget. Are we over budget? We shouldn't be over budget. Is this giving me 100 million budget because there's some glitch because I used this tab before? I feel like this is not... This is within budget. Am I losing my mind? I'm gonna have to refresh this, aren't I? Because otherwise I'm gonna get a bunch of people saying that's over budget. It's not. It's not. It's because I left that tab open from last time I was streaming when we did only have 100 million budget. So we got to go again now. Right, let's find a new tab. You create a team. What am I doing? Right, let's go back to you. Wait, no, this is not what I'm trying to do. Right, give me a private tab. How incognito window, so I can start from fresh with a fresh new team. And it's all planned out. It was working so well. And now look, there we go. Now it's giving me the right budget. Mbappe, Kane, Depay, where are you? And by the way, with this team, guys, don't necessarily expect too much from one match day. I think a big part of this particular team is we're trying to find some balance with this being a team that is viable for multiple match days, that you're not going to have to change too much. You're not going to have to change it too much going forward to continue to get some nice scores. So hopefully this will work really well for everyone. Of course, as I always say, if you want to make little changes to it, there's things in there you don't like, please do. You feel free to use this template. This is my safe template that I'm happy for you guys to go ahead and use. If you're just looking for a team to use, you don't really want to think about it. But yeah, if there's anything you don't like in it, you want to make a couple of switches, absolutely fine. But I think this just works as a really nice, safe and sensible template. Hopefully I've got all of the right players here. I think I'm correct. There we go. So there we go. So yeah, this would be your nice, safe, balanced team. There is no overcommitment on any particular team. We've selected players who are likely to go forward in the tournament and selected very, very few players. Very, very few players who are at major risk of going out. Of course, and I cannot stress this enough, guys, if there is an upset in the tournament, everyone is impacted, no matter what. It could be England get knocked out, it could be Spain get knocked out, it could be France get knocked out. We don't know. There is always upsets in these things, and that's what your transfers are for. But the best thing you can do before the match day starts, before we have the benefit of hindsight, is just to play the odds. Just play the odds. Who do you think was going to progress through the tournament? Who has a nice run to the final? And actually, to be fair, we should probably, let's throw on screen round of 16 fixtures, because I think this is useful. Oh, this is not right. I'm sure I saw like a nice bracket graphic before. I did find it, but I've lost it now. Maybe there's like an image here. Euro 2024. Just to give like a good... Oh, here we go. Maybe here. Oh, there we go. That's what I was after. Right, so Yeah, because there's two very distinct brackets, and I think if you're building a team and you don't have a wild card to use in future match days, we need to try and find some balance between each side of the bracket. So we've got nothing from Italy or Switzerland, because I think that is the tightest game in this round of 16. We've got 3 England, but not 4 England, just to be safe. So we should, therefore, if England keep progressing at least to the semi-finals, you're going to be covered on that part of the bracket. I mean, and you've got Pickford, who hopefully is going to be a useful goalkeeper all the way through. Then we've got this like kind of mini part of the bracket. Netherlands are not going to meet England, assuming they go through. Again, Netherlands can't meet England until the semi-finals, so you know that these teams are not going to knock each other out. You start kind of picking horses you think are going to do well. We've got 2 Netherlands and 1 Austria, so even though they play each other, well, if they both qualify, even though they would play each other in the next round, it is going to be something that you can fix with transfers. Either, I mean, to be fair, you keep them even when they play each other. You know, if you've got a Depay and a Baumgartner, and these 2 players play each other, you keep them. You know, you back both of them to score in a game. You could definitely see Austria and Netherlands having some goals in that game. So it's definitely fine to keep those players. And see if they face off each other and get some points that way. But of course, by the semi-finals, you would have to remove some of them, but you'll have a decent amount of transfers to use in the semi-final round, enough that you can start making some nice moves. So, yes, that kind of works in that way. We're not overcommitted anywhere, and we've got teams that we think will progress through to that round. On the other side of the bracket, it's a little bit more difficult. So, for example, Spain we've tripled up on because I think this Georgia fixture is just too good. If you have a wild card, I actually want to have 4 Spain players, but because Spain would most likely play Germany in the quarterfinals, that is the reason why I think drop down to 3 Spain players, only go for 1 Germany player. Because if these teams face off against each other here, and you have 4 Spain and 2 Germany, for example, you are losing minimum 2 players, maximum 4 players by the time we get to the semi-finals. That's a lot. That's a lot. Then in this final bracket, we've got Portugal versus Slovenia. A little bit tougher again. I would say that actually France and Portugal are 2 favourites to go all the way. Certainly going into this tournament, they were probably my 2 favourites for the tournament. So it's interesting to see that they'll likely meet in the quarterfinals. Going for 1 or 2 France players, again, no more. And going for 3 Portugal players, no more. That kind of caps us at a minimum, well, minimum 2, maximum 3. In this team, minimum 2, which would be France, maximum 3, which would be Portugal, to get knocked out before the semi-finals. So, again, it's a little bit better than, you know, the maximum 4 getting knocked out. You don't want to have 4. You don't want to have 4 players getting knocked out from one game. It's going to be tough, and we are going to have players knocked out, and it happens every time. By the time you get to the final, you are not going to have a full squad of players playing. You're not going to need a full squad, in fairness. You only need 11 players for match day 7, as it will be. You only need 11 players because you can't make substitutions because there's only one game. There's no subs to be made. For the semi-finals, you're probably not going to have a full squad of 15. You're probably going to have like 14. If you've done well, you'll have 14. Because your players will get knocked out, and you have to accept that. That's part of this game. That is part of what makes Euro Fantasy a little bit different. Teams getting knocked out. So you have to, I think, if you don't have a wild card, you need to strike a balance here between picking players you like and not overloading, and also picking players you think are going to advance. Netherlands are a good bet to advance. So whereby I have 2 Netherlands players in this team without a wild card. If I did have a wild card, which I do, I would be less inclined to pick Netherlands players because I wouldn't have to focus so much on the teams that I think are going to progress. Because I can have that conversation next match day instead. I can think about that next match day. Or maybe even the one after that. Before I have to start thinking about this. So, if you don't have a wild card, this is the team. This is what I would go for. Something like this. Incog says you'll know lineups before the final and you have 5 free subs, so you only need 6 players to go through out of 15 for the semi. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. And I think that's why it's more that it's the quarterfinals and going into the semi-finals that is slightly more of an issue. So it's the transition between quarters and semis that will cause more issues. I think we're probably all going to be, no matter who we are, we're probably going to be unless there's a big upset, and it would have to be a fairly big upset, as long as you avoid Switzerland versus Italy, you should be safe to get the vast majority of your players through to the quarterfinals. To get all of your players from the quarterfinals through to the semi-finals is just going to be impossible. It's just not going to be possible. And that's just something that you're going to have to accept. But yeah, like you say, final's not going to be too much of an issue. You only need 11 players. It's very, very doable. Shouldn't be too many issues there. Semi-finals could cause some issues. It really could. But anyway, so yeah, guys, happy with this team as a non-wildcard team? And should we do another team for those with a wildcard as well? Because I know a lot of you guys are saying, Dan, I don't care about your waffling. Just give me a team to use and shut your mouth. Just throw it on screen. Stop talking. I'm not here to enjoy the content. I'm not here to have discussion. I'm not here to listen to your stupid voice go on and on about all these various players. All I want is you to tell me what players to put in my team so I can go and make my dinner. And that's pretty much what I'm hearing. So, if you do have a wild card, I don't think there's too much difference. 4 players difference, maybe. I would not be that fussed about Netherlands because I don't really rate them. I would not be as solid on England because I don't really rate them in attack. And I would definitely be going for Cristiano Ronaldo Sui. I think if you've got a wild card in hand, go quadruple Portugal, go quadruple Spain. Go all in. Why not? What's the harm? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. In terms of those final defenders, well, I mean, we could go for another England defender here. We could go triple England defence. Why not? Kyle Walker, Johnny Stones, welcome to the team. If we go Stones or Walker, let's go Stones. A little bit safer for minutes. Better attacking potential in my personal and very unprofessional opinion. And then one more player, defender. Should we just take the odds? The odds probably say Germany as our next. Well, Germany or Netherlands. You could still go for. To be fair, you could still go for Van Dijk. Just go for one Netherlands player. The only issue with him is that I wish he wasn't playing on the final day. I wish he wasn't playing on day 4 of match day 4, because he's probably the riskiest for a clean sheet out of all of these 5 defenders. I want the riskier players earlier. So can we go for someone playing a little bit earlier on in the match day? If so, you're looking at a Germany or an Italy. You can maybe go for a Bastoni or a Rudiger. Not really sure who I prefer out of Bastoni and Rudiger, to be honest. I like them both. What about Ake? You can go for Ake if you want. I prefer Van Dijk, but it's a preference thing, isn't it? How about Vitinha? Yeah, you can go for Vitinha if you want to. I'm not sure which players I'd be willing to sacrifice out of these guys to get Vitinha, but he's certainly a valid pick. So let's go for Rudiger for our final player there. And there you go. That's a team for if you have a wild card. H React says, why not Mendes instead of Cancelo, saving 1 million? You can do. My issue with Menge is he is, I think, a player at a little bit more rotation risk, because we can potentially have Cancelo or Dalot playing in that left-back position. I like him generally speaking, but particularly if you're looking for like a longer term pick, then if you're looking for a longer term pick, then I think I would worry. Every match day, I'll be worried about his minutes. And it doesn't... When did Portugal play? Do they play... No, again, they've got the late one again. That's what I thought. So again, they've got the late kickoff. So there's no way you will know if Menge starts or not before the day. Before when you have to make your substitutions. And although I think he probably will start 80% of games, it's just that 20% chance that he'll get benched bothers me too much. Whereas Cancelo gives me a lot more confidence. But I do like Menge. If you're happy to take a little bit of a risk there, then go for him. But this is very much a safer team that I think is a good starting point when making a team. Costa out for Bruggen in. I mean, you could do. The only thing I don't like about like a Pickford and Verbruggen combo is that you're guaranteed to have to transfer one of them out in the semi-finals. You are, well, because you will, because they'll be if both Pickford and Verbruggen make it all the way to the semi-finals, then they'll be playing each other. So one of them's going to be useless to you. Even if they both survive the tournament until then, one of them's going to be useless to you for the final two match days, for match day 6 and 7. So that's why I don't like the Pickford-Verbruggen combo. The Costa-Verbruggen combo, I like a bit more, I guess. But I think it's really... I mean, in fact, actually, I can go one further than that. Because I forgot about this. I forgot to mention this. I was thinking this earlier, and I've completely forgot. And thank you for reminding me. If you pick two goalkeepers who play on the same bracket, then they'll be useless to you in the quarterfinals as well, because they'll both play on the same day. So on the England-Netherlands side of the bracket, both quarterfinal games will take place on the 6th of July. So you can only pick one of them, and you can't substitute them. So pick one goalkeeper from these top 4 games. Pick another goalkeeper from these 4 games. Going for Pickford and well, really you're looking at one of Donnarumma, and this assumes you don't have a wild card. This assumes you don't have a wild card. And this team is for people who don't have a wild card. You've got to pick basically Donnarumma, Pickford, or Verbruggen, or Pence as one of your goalkeepers. And for your other goalkeeper slot, you've got to pick one of Neuer, Simon, Magnon, and Costa. But the important thing is that you pick one goalkeeper from this side of the bracket, the top 4 teams here, and you pick the other goalkeeper from the other bracket if you don't have a wild card. Because otherwise, you'll essentially only have one goalkeeper for match day 5. Because they'll play on the same day. So, hopefully that makes sense. Because I think a lot of people will trip over on that. Your safe goalkeeper combo is just Pickford Costa. if you don't want to think about goalkeepers too much, just go for Pickford Costa. It's just the super straightforward one. Who to put as the captain for the no wildcard team? Musiala would be your day one captain on both teams. On both, it would be Musiala. Thoughts on Kante, Gundogan, De Bruyne? Kante, he's fine. Going to get you some ball recovery points. Maybe get another man of the match if he's lucky. Gundogan is good, but I wouldn't have him instead of Musiala. I would have them both. Or have them both, or just Musiala. De Bruyne, if I'm totally honest, I'm not that interested in. Yazuto says, we still have free transfers though. Yes, and you are going to need them. If you don't have a wild card, you are going to need those free transfers. So don't start booking in transfers now. I mean, that's just my opinion on that one. There's something that I found consistently with fantasy games. If you start planning future transfers rigidly, you will end up in trouble every time. Because things will change. You can say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go for Pickford and for Bruggen because it's all right, I have 3 transfers anyway. And then suddenly, France get knocked out and you've got to use your transfers there. Or, you see Germany are about to face Spain in the next round and you think, oh, maybe I don't want all these Germany defenders, all these Spain defenders. So, okay, we're going to have to do some transfers there as well. So it's all good saying, yeah, I can just use my transfers on that. But by the time we get to when you will use the transfers, I can guarantee you will have more pressing issues. So I would try and, I really would strongly recommend picking half from the top bracket. One goalkeeper from the top bracket, one goalkeeper from the other bracket there. It just makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. What's the starting 11? The starting 11 is just the players who play earliest on in the match day. You would bench Baumgartner and then like 2 Portugal players. Well, 3 actually. So you bench Baumgartner, Fernandes, Cancelo and Costa. Easy as that. Easy as that. Wait, this is the team. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm getting mixed up here. This is the team if you do have a wild card. Sorry. This is the team if you don't have a wild card. Is there some way of me labeling them? Yeah, there's only 4 differences between the 2 teams, in fairness. But I think they're quite important differences. So this, guys, just as another reminder, just to be very clear, because I think I may have misspoken within the last 5 minutes or so. This is the team to select. Well, this is a template team. A template of a team to select if you don't have a wild card. These are what the players I'd recommend to have that balance, to try and make sure you've got players moving forward through the tournament. You're not booking in your transfers. You're hoping that you can use your transfers at your own leisure and to react to new issues that are unforeseen, those unpredictable things, and you're prepared for anything that is unpredictable. We've gone for Depay over Gakpo because Depay, I think, has been a little unlucky. I think he has more avenues to get points with those penalties and those free kicks that he's on. And I think he's just more of a big game player, generally speaking, than Gakpo. But yeah, Gakpo's fine as well. If you prefer Gakpo to Depay, no problem making that switch. Not too much in it. Same with Baumgartner and Sabitzer. If you prefer Sabitzer to Baumgartner, no problem, make that switch. If you prefer a Fabian Ruiz to some of these Spain midfielders, no problem. Again, no problem again. One more change you could potentially make in this this team for those with a wild card is just removing one of the Spanish midfielders. You don't need 3 Spain attackers. Pedri would be the player to remove. If there's any other midfielders you like the look of, maybe you want to go for an England attacker. Can't quite afford Jude Bellingham, but I like the look of Saka still. I'm still a big fan of Saka in this tournament. Or you could double up on the Germany attack. So, Saka or Gundogan, I would probably go for here if you don't like the look of Pedri. In fact, should we leave Gundogan in for now? for a bit more balance. Because this is meant to be a safe team, right? It's meant to be a safe team. Ricky says, let's see your final team. Ricky, I ask you this question. Why? Why? David says, what's your highest FPL rank? My highest FPL? I will never turn down an opportunity to flex this one. My highest FPL rank is 243rd in the world out of 10 million players. Yes. Yes, I'm that much of a nerd. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Why no Middlestat? I'm not convinced by him starting. You know, I keep seeing rumours around him starting, and if that's the case, like, just go for Rudiger instead. It's safer, isn't it? Rudiger is not much worse than Middlestat, particularly if you're looking for those attacking returns. I think it's absolutely fine. Do you have a YOLO team with wildcard available? I don't have a YOLO team. Should I mean, I could make a quick like risky team, but I won't do it for like wildcards versus non-wildcards. I'll do a full send team. Let's make it like a crazy team for those like really just wanting to go for it. I think, to be fair, a lot of the players would be the same. But this is going to go for a lot of those slightly different players. So I think you go Ronaldo, because he's not going to be as popular as Mbappe and Kane. You stick with Morata. You go for Depay. Midfielders, and this is, remember guys, this is your YOLO team. This is super high risk, high reward kind of team. I think that is the kind of team where I would go for a Saka. I'd stick with Musiala still. I would go for Pedri, but no Williams. And then I would go for, let's go for double. Where is double Austria attack. Then defense. Again, we're YOLOing it a little bit. So you want Bastoni, Rudiger, so these high potential players. Van Dijk, Cancelo. We're running out of money here, but that's okay. And we need some England defence, so we'll go for, even if you're YOLOing a little bit, you do want to have that England defence in there. Troy says Palmer in this sort of team. I'm telling you, I mean, I'm making a crazy team, but I need my players to actually start. There's no guarantee of him starting, of Palmer starting. All right, and then we need like let's go. I can't see past Mark Gay, to be honest. Even in the like craziest team possible, like Mark Gay is like one of the best players you can pick in this game. Full stop. Goalkeepers, one of them should be Pickford again, because for England's defence, and then we need to pick someone from the other bracket. You could go Neuer or Simon. Let's go Simon, because we've not got any Spain cover in defence. There you go. There's a bit of more of a crazy YOLO kind of team. Yeah, actually, I like Pepe. Someone suggested Pepe. Yeah, like it. This is a little crazier, but I like it. Jeremy says, Southgate does not rate Palmer. I do not rate Southgate. Is this the way? Overtino says, am I crazy choosing Ruiz ahead of Pedri and Williams? I am not even lightly. I'm not even slightly considering that. So it's crazy to me, but I've seen a lot of people, in the chat saying, player score more point, me pick player, and Fabian Ruiz fits that definition perfectly. Fits it absolutely perfectly. But yes, I prefer Williams and Pedri to Fabian Ruiz. It's a personal preference. We spoke about it lots at the start of the stream. And it's basically because both Williams and Pedri have much better histories of attacking returns, both at international level and at club level. They both play more advanced on the field. And to be honest, going into the knockout stages, there's every chance that we might actually see Fabian Ruiz. I mean, he's playing as kind of as an 8, slightly more advanced than Rodri, but not as advanced as Pedri. As we go into these knockout games, we could actually see Fabian playing a little bit more conservatively as well. Simon and Pickford play on the same day. Good point. This is what happens when I make a quick YOLO team. So we need like a Magnon then in that case. A Magnan. Quick Magnan, and we're sorted. Do they play on the same? They can't play on the same day, can they? 1st of July, 30th of June. Beautiful. Well spotted. Well spotted. There you go. There's a YOLO team. Rana says, can you show us the team for people who don't have a wild card? Yes, I certainly can. That is this team. This is your team for those who don't have a wild card. Again, I would I would, you know, make some changes if you want to, if you feel you need to. I don't think you should be locked in with this one necessarily. I do need to think about some changes for my team as well. I don't know if I want to go for a Kanji or not. I can't decide. Might be just too risky. I do like him, but yeah, I don't know. It would be safer to just go, like, what defense am I missing from my team? Like, if I look at the safe team, what am I missing here? I guess a Germany defender? Do I want a Germany defender though? Not that much. I think I'd rather go for a Kanji. I think I'm fine with a Kanji. I just want his insane ball recoveries. He's an absolute legend. Double Spain. I can't do double Spain defense because I'm already triple Spain attack, and I'm sticking with that. I really like triple Spain attack. Mittelstadt or Rudiger? I'd go for Rudiger. It's just safer. And there's lots of rumours that Mittelstadt's going to be benched, so I just would not take that risk. Why Baumgartner over Sabitzer? Baumgartner just has a better record for Austria over the last, 6 months. Much better record. I think any concerns about Baumgartner being benched are kind of out the window now. Wimmer is suspended. Apparently, the only reason Baumgartner didn't start that third game was because he'd already got a yellow card and they were just trying to save him. They were just resting him, because they didn't want him to get another yellow card before the knockout stage. So I think if Baumgartner has a better record, the bookies prefer Baumgartner for a goal, and now he's also just as nailed on as Sabitzer, then that leans me towards Baumgartner, personally. But, again, no wrong answers. No wrong answers. Apparently some people saying Rudiger's supposed to be injured. Alright, let's just switch him out for... This is the YOLO team, right? So you can put Schlotterbeck in there. Not the YOLO team. This is the team that has a wild card still. But Rudiger's going to be fine, right? I don't think there's any serious concerns about that. Kane 46% chance of scoring. Ronaldo nowhere to be seen. Ronaldo 51% chance of scoring. So that knocks Kane out the park. Knocks it out the park. Right, guys. People asking about Mittelstadt. We don't know. The lineups are not going to be out for at least another hour. More likely 2 hours. More likely like 2 hours. So it's so difficult to tell you that information now. But if there is a risk there and you are concerned about it, I think that is enough to just say, don't go for the player, just pick someone else. Because there are so many good options for Euro Fantasy right now. There's so many good options. You don't have to pick players that you have concerns about. If you have concerns about one of your players, just choose someone else. For every Mittelstadt, there's a Rudiger. For every I don't know, if you're slightly worried about Pepe, try Cancelo. Try going for Costa in goal. If you're worried about Wirtz and his minutes, you've got Musiala, you've got Gundogan. So it's pretty easy to just go for someone else. Or, you don't even have to stay within the same team. You can go for a different team, right? Like people asking about Füllkrug and Havertz. I've seen rumours that Havertz is going to start, but I, again, have no way of verifying that. It's really, really difficult. But if you're not sure if Füllkrug or Havertz are going to start, I mean, I wouldn't even put either of those forwards in the top 5 forward picks for this match day anyway. Even if they were guaranteed 90 minutes, I would still prefer Mbappe, Kane, Ronaldo, Morata, Depay, Arnautovic, Gakpo. There are so many other forward options. Yamal as well. There are so many forward options that there is, I think, honestly, zero reason to go for Füllkrug or Havertz if you are uncomfortable with the risk. If you are comfortable with the risk, then go for it. But there's so many options. Go for it. Just choose one. Havertz dropped. Check Twitter. Is that actually true? Let's let me just find and have a look here. What's this according to? Any reviews on Gakpo? He's done well so far. He's done well so far. Yeah, he's fine. I mean, I'm not massive on I'm not massive on Netherlands in general. Oh, sorry, no, I think I've got this backwards. Yeah, Füllkrug is the guy rumoured to start. Havertz is rumoured to be on the bench, but I'm not convinced by this. This is just rumours at this point. This is just predictions. We don't have any official lineup. I've looked now. I didn't want to put it on screen because I knew it would start confusing people. But no, we have no German team news, and we won't. We won't. So yeah, I would just give Havertz and Füllkrug a complete swerve. Unless you really want to take a risk, then Füllkrug I would probably go for over Havertz. Just doesn't seem worth it. In terms of captain, guys, Musiala is your guy. Let's do a quick captain poll. Who is your day one captain for match day 4? The options are going to be Musiala. We'll go Musiala, Gundogan. Other Germany player. And the final option will be Italy, Switzerland, or Denmark player. And that's in, guys. We'll just give that a few minutes just to see what you guys are thinking. Tempest Moon says if you have one or both of Musiala and Gundogan, you really don't need Havertz or Füllkrug, in my opinion. Tempest Moon, you are. I agree with you. I agree with you a lot. Doggo says Bastoni headed goal will be there. Honestly, mate, I back it. I back it. It's fine. Jackie Chan says, are you not doubling up on Spain defence, Dan? I prefer the double up in attack, personally. Gareth says, can we see your team? I've got 3 teams. You can see all of them. Well, so this team here is for those of you guys who do not have a wild card left to play. So if you don't have a wild card, you've already used your wild card, this is my team recommendation. Or at least as a guide. This team is, if you do have a wild card still, I would go for something a little bit more like this. Again, feel free to make any changes. And finally, I just made a team for fun, which is like a crazy team. This is your crazy team. It's nuts. It's crazy. Sahil says, Captain Akanji, thoughts? I'm not big on it. I'm not huge on it. I mean, I don't want to put you off, but it's not something I'm really considering at all. What other 4 or 4.5 millions could replace Mittelstat? If you have a wild card, then Schlotterbeck is the obvious one. If not, I mean, have you got Mark Gay? Sophie says Bernardo Silva or Bruno. If money is no issue, Bruno Fernandes every time. Unless you really want to save the 0.5 million. In a straight battle, I go for Bruno Fernandes every time. It's fine to go for Bernardo Silva if you want to take a bit of a risk there. But I would prefer Bruno in my team. Is Kane not valid? Kane is very valid, yeah. Kane is perfectly valid. Particularly if you don't have a wild card, Kane would be one of the first teams in my team sheet. One of the first players in my team sheet. Because it's nice to get some England players, because we expect, I mean, they're projected to make it all the way to the final. So, and we can only go off those projections at the moment until we have the benefit of hindsight and said, and then we can say, why did we pick all those England players? I knew they were rubbish. And if you think they are rubbish, don't pick them. Simple as that. Next best keeper after Pickford, I have a wild card left. Costa. Donnarumma, Neuer, Verbruggen. There's loads of options. There's very few bad goalkeepers left, to be perfectly honest. I think goalkeeper is quite a straightforward situation, which is why I'm keeping things fairly simple. As long as your goalkeeper pairing don't play on the same day, this match day, then you have nothing to worry about. If you don't have a wild card, you've got to think in advance a little bit and pick one goalkeeper from each side of the bracket. FPL Xhaka captain punt locked in. Good luck. Good luck. Akanji or Ake. Go Ake. Ake's safer. Rudiger or Cancelo. Cancelo for me. Pedri or Williams. I prefer Williams. Posh for Austria. Oh, yeah, I like him. Yeah, if you want a 4.5 million defender, you're happy to take a bit of a risk. Posh at Austria, I like. Share over Mittelstat because he's nailed on. Not that bothered about Share. Not that bothered about him. What do you think about Bellingham on this match day? He's okay. I'm a little bit concerned about Bellingham at the moment, and I'm not too keen on the England attack in general. It's not quite clicking under current management. Can we see your final ideas on the wild card team? Yes, this is the team. This on screen now is the team for those who have a wild card, which is, I think, pretty safe, pretty sensible. I don't think it will maximize your points this match day necessarily. But for the following match day, I think that will definitely be useful. And you should have a nice balanced team that shouldn't cause you any issues. But as always, guys, with these template teams, I would strongly advise you not to follow them blindly. And if you have any strong opinions about any of the players you see, make changes. Make changes. Go with your gut. Go with what you believe in and what you think is a good idea. Is Bastoni a good pick? Yeah, I like him, but you are running out of time to pick him for your team. You are really running out of time. You've got about 30 seconds left before you got to lock yourself in. Captain Musiala, guys. Captain Musiala, if you are unsure, when in doubt, Captain Musiala. Easy. If not, Gundogan's there as well. Potentially. But yeah, I'm going to end the poll there as well. We need to put my team on screen if I can find it. And then we've got to go watch some footy. Right, my team. Where are we? Show Team Gang are very, very passionate about this. So that is my locked in team. Guys, the deadline's passed. The first game between Switzerland and Italy has kicked off. We're locked in. And you can tell we're locked in because all of my players just turned grey. Well, grey? They didn't turn grey. They lost a bit of their opacity. They've gone a bit transparent. To be perfectly transparent with you guys, my players have gone a bit transparent. And that's how you know we're locked in. So yeah, that's the team I went for. I think there's a couple of risks in my team that I don't think I would necessarily recommend to others. But yeah, we're done, guys. We're done. Let's go watch some football. Let's go watch some football. Enjoy, everyone. Enjoy, because yeah, not too many match days left. 4 match days left. So yeah, we're getting there, and half the games are done now. Is that right? Half the game's done? Nearly half the games are done. Before long, half the games for the whole tournament are going to be over. Might have already happened even. But thank you so much for everyone for joining me today. We're going to be back with more videos from Tuesday. I think Tuesday. We're going to be back with videos. Maybe Monday, but probably Tuesday. So I hope to see you guys on Tuesday and Wednesday. And possibly a deadline stream for the next match day as well. I am actually away next Friday, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to stream, but we might try and find a way of doing it if you guys are up for it. But yeah, leave a like before you go. Make sure you have subscribed if you haven't done already. Enjoy the football. Catch you over on social media. See you guys on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you later, mates. Good luck, everyone. Bye bye.